The Art of Sculpting Your Business podcast is broadcasting from The Hive. The Hive is a small business resource center designed to support an innovative and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Virginia Beach. The Hive offers mentorship, networking, and a variety of fundamental resources to those who need them. The Hive, where businesses thrive.
Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of The Art of Sculpting Your Business, a 6-part series dedicated to highlighting resources, tools, and tips designed to drive innovation and growth. We are your hosts, Lavera Tolentino and Sheila Johnson.
In today's episode, we'll talk about work-life blend with Dr. Sharon Harrington of T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness, LLC. Dr. Harrington will discuss health and self-care that every business owner should practice. And as I mentioned in the last episode, you don't want to miss this. We'll close with information on how business planning could help to alleviate some of the stress that entrepreneurs experience. Before we get started, here are a few highlights about Dr. Harrington. Dr. Harrington completed her undergraduate education at Old Dominion University and holds graduate degrees from the University of Virginia, a master's in nursing with a concentration in health systems management, and a nursing doctorate. After graduating with her doctorate, Dr. Harrington studied nutrition and exercise interventions for African American breast cancer survivors as a postdoctoral research fellow. Dr. Harrington has over a decade of acute care experience in medical, surgical nursing in a variety of settings, including both inpatient and outpatient. In addition to conducting research and teaching, she has been a keynote speaker at national conferences as well as college graduations. She also has been a keynote motivational speaker in many regional and national events and conferences. Dr. Harrington is the CEO and founder of T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness, LLC, and serves her clients at Healthy Her Center for Women's Care in Virginia Beach. Dr. Harrington, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So before we get into it, can you tell us what the T.R.Y symbolizes in T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness?
Yes, the T.R.Y is an acronym that stands for Transform and Renew Yourself. And it is a foundation of my life and my first book, as well as my business name. And it is based off of my favorite scripture, Romans 12:1-2, about being transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Thank you so much. Okay, next question is, why did you form T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness?
I formed T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness out of my passion to help others to accomplish the things that I was accomplishing once I learned more about the importance of health and fitness. Not just doing it to be cute and snatched, but to really have a self-care balanced life that had holistic care as well as the fitness component, and I wanted to help other people achieve their goals, and it gave me that sense of accountability and support, and it held me accountable to my goals, but I also wanted to help people who struggled with meeting their weight loss and their fitness goals as well.
I love that mission. It is so necessary today. What type of clients has T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness served?
We've served a lot of different clients, from teenager to, I think my oldest client has my most seasoned. My mom would kill me for saying oldest.
Exactly.
My most seasoned clients. Yes, I got to watch my mouth.
Mothers over here, yes.
Watch your mouth. So my most seasoned client is in their mid-70s, but my typical client is between 30 to 55, and normally African American women who don't have a whole lot of health challenges but are moderately healthy, overweight. Some of them are overweight, obese, and have trouble with sticking to a diet, an exercise plan. They're not motivated, they don't feel like it, they know what they need to do, but they just don't know where to start. I do a lot of health coaching, and I start off with an assessment and a consultation to make sure that we're a good fit. Because when I first started my business, I wanted to help everybody.
Right.
Don't do that. So I wanted to help everybody, but I realized very quickly that it was not in my anointing nor in my expertise to do so. So we start off with a consultation to kind of see what they need to, where they need to start, and if I'm a good fit, because I have a lot of colleagues who can help you if it's something that is beyond my scope of practice.
Right, and I tell you what's so interesting, when she said that, Lavera, we had talked about before, and I think when we get into the segment dealing with marketing strategy, one of the components in there is finding your niche.
Right.
And so I think what she discovered here, how important it is to find your niche, because you cannot help everybody.
Amen.
You're not at your best self.
Right.
By trying to help
Amen.
everyone.
And
Right.
this does not help your sanity or your client for you to just try to help
Right.
everybody. But when you're starting off in business, you need all of the coins. So you don't want to turn down any of the coins, but you have to learn how to say, that's not my area of expertise. This person doesn't align with, every client is not a good client. So, and that's why I have built a network of fit friends and colleagues that
Absolutely.
I trust that I can refer them out. So, or if you need yoga or if you have injuries, that is not my anointing to do those things. So I have friends in the business of health and fitness that I can refer them out to.
Absolutely, and I think when she says anointing, I just want to say, preach, girl. Okay.
Amen, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? That's so wonderful to hear that, you took a deep look into your business and realized that you just couldn't help everybody. And so I guess, how did you form that network of being able to send your clients that you couldn't help to those other folks that could help them? What was that like?
That was like trying to grow my business and trying to learn about business and putting myself in positions where I could fellowship and network with people like me. So I love to collaborate. I love to learn. And when you put yourself in those spaces and places, you meet people. Like when I do, I'm a part of different organizations, and they have different events. You go to the events, you meet people, you get their cards and all those other types of things. You might do an event together, or you might have a conversation later. And I just love learning about the business of health and fitness. So in my endeavors to do that, I learned about different areas of it that were beyond my scope. So once I meet people that I trust,
Right.
everybody that I meet I don't trust, but everybody that I would trust to send my mom to, or somebody that I would go to myself, I'm like, okay, I can trust my client with them.
Wow.
So just with me growing my business and networking and going into those different places and spaces, I was able to find some people who do things that I don't do.
Right.
I think she dropped so many gems there.
I was going to say the same thing.
I know you were, so
Yeah.
you go ahead.
No, you go. I'll go. So, it's good that, you talked about networking and going and collecting those business cards. And the interesting thing to me is that you didn't put those business cards on the side.
Yes.
You didn't put them into like a folder and say, okay, here are business cards I collected. I'm just collecting business. I become a collector of business cards. And that's so good to hear that you actually followed up.
Follow up
with
and follow
those
through.
yes,
Yeah.
with those individuals and form that network. So I think that's an awesome gem or takeaway for small businesses in the industry to actually utilize those cards you get and follow up and follow through. So that's awesome to hear.
And I think it was very strategic for her as well, right? I think she did an analysis of her business, really, to really try to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm really good at? And what are those things that I should really focus on?
Right.
And then I think she really formed a strategy as to how she would move forward to ensure that she stays true to her mission and vision.
Right. To what she
Y'all
wanted
make
to
me
do.
sound good. I love y'all.
Oh,
Y'all good for my ego this morning.
So, hey,
Real good for my ego.
Let
We
me
this
tell
morning.
speaks
you.
truth.
We're just speaking the truth.
in
We're
here.
speaking what we have just observed in the last few minutes of us talking. And then, talking about strategies. So that's one of the things that we want to ask you too. So what are some of those health and fitness strategies that you could recommend entrepreneurs to implement? And then kind of tell us why you would recommend that to an entrepreneur.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. Now I have a book that outlines that.
What's the name of your book? What's the name of your book?
Shameless plug. Self-Care and Success. It's a 21-day planner. So as I've been going around, I talk about self-care a lot. That is my wheelhouse. So as I've been talking about self-care, people are like, oh my God, Dr. Harrington, I love your story. So passionate. You sold me on why I need to do it and what I need to do. But girl, I don't know how to do that. So I'm like, okay, I had to sit down and think about what I did and how I started. And what I would advise entrepreneurs to do is to start with a self-assessment. So my book starts with that. So it's 21 days of walking you through as if I was your coach. I tell you everything we're going to do, and I walk you through self-assessment, setting your vision, and deciding which areas you're going to work on. You can choose which areas you want to work on because I believe that self-care is holistic. So it looks at it from spirit, mind, body, relationships, and work and business. So as an entrepreneur, I had to start with a self-assessment because each season of my life, just like each season of my business, is going to require and need different things. So when I was like, I just recently lost 25 pounds. Again, we're not going to talk about that. Don't counsel me. Y'all can counsel me later. Again, 25 pounds.
I need that info today.
Again. So I always say, I'm a coach.
I think I gained your 25 pounds.
She just threw them over here, right?
But see, what had happened is I'm excellent at teaching people how to lose weight, but I can also teach you how to gain it. I can teach a class on how to gain weight. So
would it involve donuts?
Girl, yes, it involves a lot of carbs, all the carbs, liquid and edible. So start with a self-assessment and think about what you really need. What are you going through in your life? I've had various seasons of my life where I was going crazy in school. I was just telling one of my clients the other day, I was like, she was asking me about a certain year in my life, and I was just like, oh my God, my dad had died, I was going through a divorce, I was working full time, I was working PRN, I was teaching at a part-time. She was like, when did you have time to train for a marathon and to do this and to do that? I said, I had to make time because I knew what I needed.
Right.
And I had to do a self-assessment, think about what I needed in that season to keep me sane and to keep me healthy, because I realized that I always tell my clients that self-care is not selfish, it is essential. And I always give them the analogy of the airplane. When you get on a flight and you have the flight attendant, they walk around and they give you safety instructions. In the event of an emergency and the cabin loses pressure, oxygen masks are going to fall from the top of the aircraft. I've flown a couple of times, right?
Right.
Oxygen masks are going to fall from the top of the aircraft. They don't say put the oxygen mask on your business, on your husband, on your daughter, on your son, on Mookie, Kiki, and them. They say to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And I always tell them that self-care is putting the oxygen mask on yourself first.
I love that.
And your
analogy.
oxygen mask might have different types of oxygen depending on what you're going through in your life. You might be going through a divorce. You might be going through postpartum depression. Your husband might have just went to Afghanistan to serve. You might have just lost your job. You might have gained the COVID 15, 20, 35, 45. So you need to really assess where you are and think about what your needs are. And that is the first step to you taking the next step to actually creating a plan and thinking about something that's going to be smart goals. Not, girl, I want to lose 21 pounds in 21 days and I would work out every day. I'm going to go from zero. I've been a couch potato and watching all of the things on TV, but I'm going to work out for 2 hours a day for 7 days a week.
Be realistic.
Right.
Stop playing. So, yes, come up with those SMART goals and come up with a plan and have an accountability partner. So I would tell entrepreneurs to do that. Start with the assessment and think about what you need in the season and come up with a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
I love that, Laverne.
Yeah, that's awesome information. So just a little bit more about it. Let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. We talked about COVID-19, 2050. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Why do I get immediate anxiety when people say COVID or
I think I just think that's
everyone.
Yeah. I think that's everyone. It's part of the
life now.
It's part of what we go through on a daily thing. So how do you think that pandemic or the pandemic affected the entrepreneurs today? So tell us some of the things that you talked about. I mean, you talked about work-life balance, inspiration, motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you think that pandemic really took, how it affected entrepreneurs today.
I think it was the ultimate disruptor. It was the ultimate disruptor, the ultimate distraction, and it was the ultimate, it exposed, the ultimate exposure of the cracks in your foundation. Because I think before COVID, we were just going around doing whatever we do, whatever. And then when everything changed, when outside closed, I ain't never lived through a time where outside was closed. So outside was closed, and everything that we knew went from, okay, day to day, we just going throughout our day, to everything changed. It's like whether or not you went to work, whether you had a job, your children going to school, like people getting sick, people are dying. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
So we had to pivot. And those people who were ready and agile and able to pivot were able to pivot and turn a very chaotic time into something that was beautiful. But those who were not able to do that and did not have good foundations in their business, in their lives, in their practices, a lot of people got divorced. A lot of things exposed our areas of weaknesses and opportunity. And a lot of people got depressed from that. And most women, let me speak for myself. My name is Dr. Shannon. And when I get depressed, sometimes I just want to eat something. You just want to eat something that's not going to nourish you, but that's going to numb you.
Right.
Something that's going to fill you up and fill a void of emotional pain, business pain, financial, strategic, or whatever. So I think that once COVID and the pandemic hit, it hit. And it was just like that shake to the core of our foundation of our businesses, that if we didn't have the proper foundational structures and the strengths and the strategies and the systems in place, we couldn't navigate that with excellence.
Right. So we talked, about that. Those are some of the things that, it shook us up. We saw the cracks in our foundation. Now tell me, if I had cracks in my foundation, I truly did. But, had I had someone like you to say, okay, girl, your foundation is cracked. So now help me connect some of those dots. I got a cracked foundation. What can I do to help repair that foundation? Give me some tips that I can utilize in my personal self-care life as well as in my business life.
Yes.
I always start with, because I love clients, and in my endeavor to try to help everybody, when I first started, that I quickly got delivered from Jesus, was you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And a lot of times people are like stuck in what they want to do and how they want to do it. But you have to be open to expose and to acknowledge your mess, your trash. Like, I can't help you and you can't help you if you're not real about where you are. If you can't embrace that season that you're in, and the good, the bad, the ugly, there's always going to be some good that we can find in it. But if you can't really embrace those areas of opportunity, if you're not willing to implement a system in your business or a system for healthy living, if you're not willing to change some of your habits and just do those micro habits that turn into big results and big outcomes, then that's going to be a challenge. So I would say, as far as tips, is to be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. Be real with your coach. And set smart goals, because me, being type A OCD, I always want to conquer the world and help the world conquer itself in 24 hours. And that's not gonna happen. I wake up with an S on my chest, ready to go every day. Like, we gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And with a good cup of Starbucks coffee, I can. But if I want to maintain momentum, health, and sanity, I need to kind of break it down and break it up a little bit and just live to see another day. My mom be like, baby, live to see another day. There's always, Jesus is going to give you 24 more hours where you can save the world when it comes to that. But change what you acknowledge. So acknowledge what you have going on in your life, and come up with a strategy, set smart goals, and have that accountability piece. Because it's easy for us, and I know I'm guilty of this, and 99.9% of my clients are guilty of this as well. We can show up for other people, but we won't show up for ourselves.
Absolutely.
I always tell them to put it on your calendar. I say if it's on my calendar, it's going to get done. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not going to do it. But they're the same way. So I said, put your workouts or put your I got to eat a salad on your calendar, because I know you're going to get it done if it's on your calendar. If it's not for somebody else, you eating that salad for me. You doing that walk for Dr. Shannon. And you got to take a sweaty picture afterwards and send it to me. So they'll do it for me, but they won't show up for themselves. And one of the last speaking engagements that I had, I gave them the analogy. I said, okay, so a lot of people come to me and they were like, I know I need to do this, I know I need to do this, I know I need to do that, but I ain't got time. And I'm like, okay, you don't have time, you ain't got time. Okay, so I said, if your husband's life depended on it, like if your baby's next breath was attached to you implementing the plan that I'm going to create for you, could you find time to do it? And they look at me and roll their eyes and twist their neck and yes, like duh. And I'm like, okay, well, their lives do depend on it.
Yep.
Because you're not going to be no good to nobody else if you don't take care of yourself first. And then they look at it and they be like, I guess that's why I'm paying you. Guess that's why I'm paying you.
They have a realization.
Yes,
of
connected
this.
to a why. So that's one of the biggest things. So get out your own way and acknowledge what you need to change and be ready to do that. But when they have a strong enough why, the how doesn't matter.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so, you know, as small business owners, sometimes we see, and entrepreneurs, we see a lot of time is sitting down in front of a computer, making sure they're working, making sure they're doing their paperwork, following up, getting all these things done. You know, what do you say about the physical side of that? What can they do to, you know, do they set an alarm, like you said, on their calendar or their clock and say, hey, it's time for me to get up and walk for 30 minutes? Is that something you would recommend?
Yes, I do recommend that. And I live by, we're not promoting Apple right now, but I have Apple everything. So my Apple Watch, I have a stand goal. So I have a move goal, I have a stand goal, I have a calorie goal for every day. And I'm obsessive about looking at it. I'm behind right now. But every hour it's going to ping me and say it's time to stand. So I try to be intentional about listening to it instead of just saying, don't be talking to me. But get the device and listen to the device. But yes, incorporating things that you're going to do. So sometimes I've done silly things like this that my mentors have recommended, like do 25 squats whenever you go to the bathroom, or you're drinking a certain amount of water. I drink a gallon of water a day, so you know where I go a lot. So do 25. If you drink a gallon of water every day, you ain't got to worry about the physical activity part, because you're going to be up and down all day anyway. But drink your water, meet your water goals, and you'll get your stand goals and your physical goals. But set a time that you're going to do it. I'm a morning workout person. I don't like working out in the evening because I can come up with every excuse. I say I have control over how my day starts and how my day ends. Everything in between, I don't know. So I like to set myself up for success by controlling what I can control, and I can control how my day starts. So I wake up in enough time to get my devotional time in. I said, war room, workout, worship, work, the 4 W's every day. So I make sure that I get up enough time to have my devotional time, to get my workout in, to get my worship and get myself centered, get my mind right before I go to work or before I go do my activities for the day. So set yourself up for success by having it in a time frame that you know you're going to be able to meet it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's some awesome information.
One of the things, Lavera, that she had just mentioned, how important it is for the physical, because the healthier you are, the more clarity that you have, especially when you're approaching your business. So it's so important. And there were 2 things that she had mentioned that we know, right? This was also shared by the great Dick Gregory years and years ago. I mean, you know, I'm a certain age, right? I know the great Dick Gregory. Season. One of the things that he was sharing back then was it's important that we continue to drink water.
Yes.
And then also movement was important. And I think he was probably about 80-something then, and he said that he and his wife, those are 2 of the things that they do daily, and that's why they live such a long, healthy life. It's so important. And, you know, he had that mental clarity as well.
He did. He really did.
You know, so it's so important.
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely
Simple is easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. But it's so important for us to get in the habit of doing that.
But I love
Yeah.
what you said when she said, tie it to something that means something to you.
Right.
You know, what are you fighting for? Why are you here? Because certainly if you're not healthy, that's going to weigh heavily on your child,
Right.
your husband,
Right.
your family, etc. You're not doing anyone any good.
Right. So we've definitely had some great takeaways. So just to kind of let's kind of recap some things that Dr. Harrington shared with us. And some of those strategies were, do a self-assessment, which is very important. Self-assessment on yourself. Accountability. Have some accountability, and put yourself first, because you're no good to nobody if you're not good to yourself. You
Yes.
can't help anybody else, right?
Yes.
Show up for yourself. You can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Yes.
If you don't think you're not acknowledging it, it's never going to change. You're going to do the same old thing. You're going to repeat it all over
Absolutely.
again, right? And then, one thing that I kind of threw in here, I kind of, on that business mind set, I kind of look at it as performing a SWOT analysis on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I kind of tie it into that, and I love what your mom has left you with and saying that, make sure you live to see another day.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. So tell your mom I'm taking that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So she heard it here first. Mom, live to see another day. We love it, and we're gonna coin that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, because I'll be sharing that with my children as well.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we get to the point, it's like, oh, I got to finish the thing. I'm like, tonight?
Yes.
So I love that as well.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you can share with us on any other things on the psychological side, emotional side, relationship wise, that you want to just touch on briefly?
Yes. Give yourself the grace to be where you are. And I know that a lot of times we might be going through certain things that it might be hard for us to acknowledge or to wrap our hearts and spirits and minds around, but we need to learn what we need in that season to make sure that we live to see another day, as my mom says it. And everybody's journey is going to be different. I was just speaking at ODU on Monday, and I was telling the entrepreneurs there that were graduating from a program that my journey was a little bit different. Mine, I always say faith and fitness saved my life. So mine started with spirit, and then it got into mental. It was spirit, mind, and body. So the cliche spirit, mind, and body. That was my journey. But your journey might be, okay, I have to wrap my mind around this, and then I can get my body moving. And you might not be spiritual. That might not be something that's a part of your life, but they're the holistic part of you. There are more than just one part of you that needs health care and self-care and nurturing. We just need to acknowledge and just be able to think through what we need and give ourselves those things and give ourselves the grace and the space to do that when we need it, how we need it, unapologetically, because that's true self-care. Self-care for Dr. Shannon and self-care for Sheila and Miss Lavere is going to be totally different based off of the seasons that we are we are in our business, and seasons that we might be in our professional life and in our careers, but especially in business. And I'll end with this, that when it comes to self-care and business, a healthy you equals a healthy business. We spend so much time being real cute in our little outfits.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
A healthy you equals a healthy business. Your business is not going to be healthy or be able to scale, or you're not going to have the systems running if you're not healthy. If you're not there to be behind the scenes or in front of the scenes or whatever state of the world your business is in, if you don't take care of yourself first, your business is never going to thrive to the level that it could.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Shannon, thank you so very much. And to our listeners out there, this is important because, again, I'm going to say it, a healthy you equals a healthy business. And we'll end on that note, but we appreciate you coming and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And so to our listeners out there, if you have any questions regarding this week's The Art of Sculpting Your Business episode, send it to theartofbiz@vbgov.com. Again, theartofbiz@vbgov.com. Dr. Shannon Harrington is here with us. And you know what? Before we leave out, I didn't ask you this piece. how can people reach out to you? How can they get to you?
Oh, well, my alias is Dr. Fit Nurse. Y'all don't laugh at me, but Dr. Fit Nurse is my
And
alias.
she is.
So,
Dr. Fit Nurse. Yes.
so my website is www.drdrfitnurse, and you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Fit Nurse. You can find me on Facebook at Dr. Fit Nurse.
All right, so we got Facebook, we got Instagram,
and website.
And the website. All of them,
Dr. Fit Nurse.
Dr. Fit Nurse. Remember that, Dr. Fit Nurse. Thank you so much,
And I would
Dr.
say
Fit Nurse. We got something to
One
add,
more thing,
Sheila.
Lavera. She has several books that are here. Dr. Fit Nurse, can you share those titles and where individuals can get their hands on those books as well?
Yes, thank you for asking. The first book is called T.R.Y, and it's a 21-day transformation devotional. You know, we talked about T.R.Y. That's the name of my business, so that's my first baby. My second baby is From CNA to PhD, and that's how to use the nursing process to grow personally and professionally. So anyone can benefit from it. It was written for nurses because I'm a nurse and I've had a nursing journey. But anyone who's on an academic and professional growth journey can take tips away from that. That's my second baby. And my third baby is Self-Care and Success, that 21-day planner that I spoke about earlier. And all of those are available at drfitnurse.com as well as amazon.com.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So again, we have Dr. Fit Nurse, Dr. Shannon Harrington with us from T.R.Y Again Health and Fitness LLC, and that T.R.Y stands for Transforming Renew Yourself. So again, thank you very much, Sheila. It's me and you can take it on out.
It's us, yes. So next week, Lavera will turn the tables. She will have a conversation with me, yes, the Sheila Johnson. The topic will be marketing strategy, the importance of developing your capability statement and defining your niche. Don't miss it. Thank you to our sponsor, the Virginia Beach Hive, where businesses thrive.